These 10 foods fed prophets, shepherds, and whole civilizations for thousands of years, and every one of them still belongs on your plate today. Before we begin, if you love learning how nature quietly nourishes us, take a moment to subscribe. It truly helps. None of these are miracle cures. Picture instead the old table, flatbread, a jug of oil, and fresh fruit, laid out in the warm evening light. Just real foods, with real and honest goodness, the kind people have eaten for thousands of years, and the kind still worth eating now. So let us begin the count with 3 plain staples that carried the ancient world. Number 1. Olive oil. The golden oil of the ancient Mediterranean, pressed from the same fruit that grew on the hills of Scripture. It is rich in monounsaturated fats, the gentle kind of fat, and in polyphenols, natural plant compounds that act as antioxidants. Both are linked to heart health, honestly and modestly. It will not cure a thing, but as part of your meals, it supports and it nourishes, and the best way to enjoy it is raw. Drizzle it, unheated, over a bowl of vegetables, and you are tasting it the way the ancients did. And here is something quiet and lovely. If your own kitchen already holds a bottle of olive oil, you are closer to these ancient tables than you think. Number 2. Barley. The humble grain of Ruth's fields, gleaned from the harvest in one of the oldest stories we have. Barley is a whole grain, high in a special fiber called beta-glucan. That fiber helps support steady blood sugar, and it feeds a healthy gut. Nothing dramatic, just good daily nourishment. It was food for the poor and the faithful alike. Cook it like rice, or drop a handful into a simmering soup, and it turns a thin broth into something that holds you through the afternoon. Number 3. Lentils. The pottage of Scripture. The very stew for which Esau traded his birthright. A humble bowl. And yet look at what it gives. Lentils deliver plant protein and fiber together, feeding the good bacteria that live inside your gut, and giving you slow, steady energy that does not spike and crash. Why would something as plain as a lentil matter so much? It is the fiber, and what it quietly feeds inside you. Simmer them into a stew with a little onion, and let them soften. Simple and true. So there they are, 3 plain foods, oil, grain, and a handful of dried seeds. And somehow, foods this ordinary sustained entire peoples, shepherds, families, whole civilizations, for thousands of years. How? The answer is still coming, waiting in the sweeter foods yet to reach the table. Because the plainest foods were only the beginning. The next food on the ancient table was the sweet, seed-flecked fruit the prophets plucked straight from the tree, and it hides far more than sugar. Number 4. Figs. Soft, sweet, and older than almost anything else on this table, split one open, and you find that seed-flecked flesh the prophets and shepherds knew well. Figs are genuinely rich in fiber and potassium, and yes, they carry natural sugars, so they are honestly sweet. Enjoy them fresh when you can find them, or dried, a few at a time. That is the trick. A small handful of dark, chewy figs is a real treat. Eat the whole bag, and the sweetness works against you. It supports and nourishes, it does not cure, but as a daily bite of something good, it is a quiet gift. Number 5. Grapes and raisins. The fruit of the vineyard, pressed into wine and dried into raisins since before written memory. What makes them more than sweet is the polyphenols, plant compounds like resveratrol, sitting in the skins and acting as antioxidants in the body. A handful of grapes, or a small scoop of those dark, wrinkled raisins, is a genuine treat with a little something extra. not a medicine, just real food that has fed people and delighted them for a very long time. Number 6. Almonds. You may remember almonds from the story of Aaron's rod that budded overnight, the staff that flowered and bore almonds. Fitting for a food this nourishing. Almonds are rich in vitamin E, magnesium, and healthy fats, the kind that support the heart. Magnesium alone plays a quiet part in muscle and nerve function, in hundreds of small tasks your body does without a thought. A small daily handful is plenty. Whole in the shell or shelled and cupped in your hand, they are one of the most complete little foods on this list. And here I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which of these do you already eat? And which one surprised you? I am always curious what people keep in their own kitchens. And if honest health wisdom is what you have been seeking, stay with me by subscribing. Then, gently, back to the table. Number 7. Dates. The sweetness of the desert, the fruit that carried travelers across long, dry roads. Dates are high in potassium and fiber, and yes, they are concentrated natural energy, quick and warming. Split one open and you see that glossy flesh around the pit. 2 or 3 are enough to satisfy a craving without reaching for anything refined. Potassium helps the body keep its balance, its rhythm. Fiber keeps things steady and feeds the good bacteria in your gut. Small fruit, real goodness. And here is where I have to be honest with you about the most famous food of all. You will hear people call it God's medicine, the antibiotic that cures infection. I love these ancient foods, but I will not tell you something that is not true. Not one food on this table replaces your doctor or your medication. None of it is an antibiotic. If something is truly wrong, please go and see them. These foods support a healthy life. They do not treat disease. Because the very next food is the one people call God's medicine, the antibiotic that cures. And I am going to tell you the honest truth about what honey really is, before we crown this ancient table with its final 2 treasures. So let me tell you the honest truth. People call honey God's medicine, the antibiotic that cures, and it is not. Number 8, honey. It is not an antibiotic. It treats no disease. What it truly is a natural sweetener, one that can soothe a scratchy throat and carries trace antioxidants. Use it in place of refined sugar, and use it in moderation. That is the honest benefit, and it is enough. And is that not more remarkable than any miracle claim? That a true, honest food can still do this much? That golden drizzle into a warm cup has comforted people for thousands of years, not because it works magic, but because it is genuinely good. It supports and nourishes. It does not cure. And that honesty is the whole point of everything we have shared. Number 9, olives. Before the oil was ever pressed, there was the fruit itself, salty, firm, a little bitter, laid out on the ancient table beside the bread. Olives are rich in fiber, and they carry the same good fats and vitamin E as the oil that comes from them. Those monounsaturated fats are the kind linked to heart health. A small handful with a meal is a real, savory gift, one that fed prophets, shepherds, and whole civilizations long before anyone gave it a fancy name. Eat them whole, or chop them into a salad. Either way, you are tasting exactly what people tasted on that table millennia ago. And now, saved for last, the finest of them all. Number 10, the pomegranate. Picture those ruby seeds in a bowl, the last and finest food on our ancient table. Cut one open and it spills its arils like jewels, each one bright and tart and alive. The pomegranate is rich in vitamin C, and it carries potent polyphenols, antioxidant compounds that are linked to heart health. Scatter the arils over a bowl of yogurt, or simply eat them by the spoonful. It will not cure a thing. But as a true, honest food, it is a small wonder, and a fitting crown for a table this old. So let me answer the question we started with. How did such plain foods, oil and barley, lentils and figs, honey and olives and pomegranate, sustain entire peoples for thousands of years? Not by magic, not by miracle. They did it by being genuinely nourishing, eaten simply, day after day, season after season. Real fats, real fiber, real protein and vitamins and slow, steady energy. The wonder was never in a cure. The wonder is that ordinary food, eaten with gratitude, kept whole civilizations alive. And none of this replaces your doctor. If something is truly wrong, see them. These are the good daily habits that support a healthy life, not a substitute for real care. But picture that table one more time. The warm bread, the raw olive oil catching the light, the figs, the golden honey, the ruby pomegranate seeds spilling into a white bowl. This is the same food that nourished people at the very beginning, and it is still here. Still on the shelf, still growing in the ground, still waiting for you. Nature has quietly provided for us since the beginning. It asks for nothing in return. And sometimes the best thing we can do, the wisest, gentlest thing, is simply to eat what it offers.